Welcome to another episode on Mediabee Color Lab, where we dive into the vibrant world of color grading. Today, we're taking to the skies with drone footage. Whether you are capturing vast landscapes or bustling cityscapes, the right color grading can transform your aerial shots from good to breathtaking. We'll go over the best practices for achieving cinematic color tones and looks. So, grab your footage and let's elevate your aerial videography with some stunning color grading techniques. For this episode, I've chosen to work with footage captured using a DJI drone, which is one of the most popular drone manufacturers out there. While DJI is our focus today, it's worth noting that the color grading principles and techniques we'll discuss today can be applied universally, no matter the brand of your drone. As you can see, our footage looks flat right out of the camera because it was recorded in dlog format. So the first and the most important step before we start grading is to get our footage to a good starting point. There are two main ways to achieve this. First, I'll show you our standard method using a color space transform, which many of you are familiar with. After that, I'll introduce a more effective approach to give our footage a robust starting point for color grading. Let's dive in. Here you can see our project settings. Because I usually prefer color space transform (CST) workflow, I've chosen Davinci YRGB as my color science. This setting will allow us to manage our color transformations accurately. I've set my timeline color space to Davinci White Gamut Intermediate and my output color space to Reg 709 Gamma 2.4, which is standard for most displays. Now, let's add our first CST node. In this node, we'll transform our footage from DJI dlog to Davinci White Gamut. This change expands our color space, allowing us to work with a broader range of colors and enhancing the flexibility in grading. For our output CST, we'll convert back from Davinci White Gamut Intermediate to Reg 709 Gamma 2.4. With these settings applied, you'll notice that our footage now appears more saturated and contrasty. Now, before we explore the second method, let me save this grade as our first version. This will allow us to compare it directly with what comes next. Okay, for our second version, let's start fresh. I'll delete these nodes and add a new node. In this approach, instead of using two CSTs, I'm going to apply a DJI LUT directly to transform our dlog footage to Reg 709. Davinci Resolve already includes some built-in LUTs for this purpose. To access them, simply right-click on the clip, navigate to LUTs, and then choose DJI. Here you'll find a list of conversion LUTs suitable for various DJI models. Since today's footage is from the DJI ZenMuse X7, I'll select the corresponding built-in LUT. That being said, if your footage is from another DJI model, you can find the appropriate LUT on the DJI website. I'll leave a link in the video description for your convenience. After downloading the LUT you need, go to your color settings, click on Open LUT folder and drag and drop your LUT into the designated folder. And don't forget to update your list to make the new LUT appear in Davinci Resolve. Now, let's compare the two versions to see which one best enhances our drone footage. You can toggle between the two versions by pressing Command B to go back and Command N to go forward. I believe it's Control B and Control N for Windows. Now, let's take a look at the differences. As you can see, the second version, where we use the DJI LUT, offers denser colors. So I'll go with the LUT approach over the CST node for this footage. Now we can start grading our clip. And we will do that under the LUT node. So let's add two serial nodes before for contrast and balance. Let's start with adjusting the contrast. We'll use the lift and gain wheels located under the primary panel. While doing this, it's essential to monitor our waveform scope to ensure we aren't clipping our shadows and highlights. As you can see, some of our shadows are already very close to zero level, which is too dark, risking loss of detail. To address this, I'll use the lift wheel to slightly raise those shadows. On the other end, our highlights are nearing the top of the scale, indicating they are too bright and might be losing information. Let's use the gain wheel to gently bring those highlights down. Okay, let's take a look at the differences now. Good. This balanced the shadows and highlights effectively, giving us a more dynamic and visually pleasing image. Next, looking at our image, I'm quite pleased with the existing colors. They are neutral and provide a great base. So instead of going through a standard white balancing step, I'm going to use the balance node to directly start crafting the look I want. My goal today is to steer the image towards a more greenish and cyan tone. To start, I'll adjust the shadows by increasing the reds slightly, which warms them up, while reducing both green and blue channels. For the highlights, I'll use the gain wheel to push the image towards cyan. Here I'll reduce the reds while enhancing the greens and adding a touch of blue to achieve that cool cyan greenish look. Let's check the difference now. Perfect, loving it. Now let's elevate our footage even further by adding Dehancer Pro to our node structure. I'll place it right before the conversion LUT. First off, I'll adjust the color space and quality level, and I'll disable the default tools to start fresh. Also, before we dive into adjustments, I'm going to add another parallel node and copy the Dehancer Pro node over. This way I can use two separate nodes for distinct effects, allowing me better control over each. Now, in the first Dehancer node, I'm going to apply a film profile. I've chosen the Kodak Vision 350D for its beautiful cinematic qualities. I'll lower the output level to blend it more naturally with our footage. We can now also dial in some film compression to enhance that classic cinematic look. Moving to the second Dehancer node, I'll start by warming up the image using the temperature and tint sliders. For the color head, I like to gang the first three sliders together to find a good starting point. Once that is set, I'll make fine adjustments. Let's boost the cyan tones a bit and warm it up a touch more. Okay, let's review the changes we made so far. Look at that transformation. It might be a bit intense, but I'm really loving the direction we're heading. To fine-tune this look and make it more subtle, I'm going to use the Film Look Creator. In this tool, I'll slightly increase the cinematic film look setting. Let's see the difference now. Perfect. Look at the vivid colors of the buildings. They now appear much denser and I think more pleasing and more filmic. Now, before we wrap up our grade, I want to focus attention on the foreground, where the houses are. To do this, I'll lower the exposure of the distant background, including the ocean and mountains. For that, I'll adjust and track a window to target just this area above the house roofs. Good. Now, using the HDR global wheel, I'll reduce the exposure to subtly shift focus towards the foreground. Let's see the difference. Perfect. This definitely toned down the background to enhance depth. As our final touch, I'll apply a soften and sharpen effect to polish off our grade. This subtle enhancement will refine the overall sharpness and texture, giving the image a more finished look. And there it is, our completed grade. We've transformed this footage into something truly cinematic, focusing attention exactly where we want it and enhancing the scene's depth and color. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more color grading insights and techniques. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notifications for our latest videos. If you have any questions or suggestions for future tutorials, leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Happy grading, and I'll see you in the next video.